I believe lying is immoral. I believe telling the truth is always preferable. Not only always preferable, but always the right thing to do, or at least don't lie. But then you come to those like annoying examples of like, would you lie to a Nazi at your doorstep if they're looking for Jews and you have some hiding in your house?
Yeah.
Like, do you lie and save their life? I don't have a conclusion, but I wanted to bring that up because it's part of the truth conversation. Any thoughts or insights?
Yeah, I mean, what I've heard just on social media when people talk about it is that, or at least the people that I listen to, is it's always wrong to lie, and that there's no exception in this case. Therefore, you have to kind of, as we were saying earlier, just be clever with how you respond. You can say,
yeah, I agree.
What were some of the responses?
Yeah, like no one that you would consider worth finding is here, which you could say is a lie. I don't know. There's clever ways to get. I don't know what they would say. I honestly, for the longest time, I disagreed with them. I'm like, if my view on morality causes me to say the truth here and get these people killed, is that really the view that I should hold? That like I, instead of questioning the fact that maybe I should say the truth, like I question, like maybe saying the truth is not always the right thing. Like maybe in some cases you should lie. Like it's a moral thing to save people.
Do you know what the church says on this?
Yeah, well, I mean, the church, like St. Augustine said you should never lie. That goes against God. To lie is to rebel against God and being itself. You should never lie. In fact, something like that. I asked ChatGPT, have a conversation with St. Augustine, St. Aquinas, I think I put Nietzsche and Kierkegaard or something. I'm like, sit them down at a table and ask them this question, and they each kind of like, wow. And it was really interesting because it kind of puts them. I mean, ChatGPT just knows like all their writings and kind of what they would say. I didn't write the conversation, but Augustine would say a lie, no matter what the intentions, is still a sin. To lie is to speak against God himself. So like never lie. Aquinas would say it is a sin, but it's officious. It's an officious lie. It's not a malicious lie. It might be more of a venial sin, but it's still wrong. It doesn't get you off the hook. You should still never sin, even if it's a venial sin. It seems to be better, and your soul is not damned.
Well, that's always good.
No, it is always good, but then you can make the case, so why not do it? And then like your soul's not damned.
I thought you were saying if you don't lie, your soul is.
No, I'm saying it's not. I mean, maybe I misread this, but it doesn't seem to be a mortal sin. Maybe it is. Maybe
under Aquinas. I guess it depends. It has to be grave matter as well.
Yeah, but you saved some people's lives, and I don't know. I don't claim to know what the church says, or that's just what those two church fathers say. I do struggle with that though, and it's like you want your moral philosophy that gets you through life to be able to save people in that circumstance. Like. It's like, why do I value my own soul salvation more than the lives of these people? Isn't it kind of selfish?
Well, maybe it is selfish because of the self-delusion that you can twist the fabric of reality, as I think Jordan Peterson says, to your own will, as you were saying at the beginning.
But you can in that circumstance.
But if you believe in God's providence, you believe that everything God's plan is ultimately relies on your cooperation to it. So that's not sinning. That's right. So maybe for whatever reason, no matter how horrible the situation might be, it just goes beyond your understanding. It can seem like the most horrid situation that maybe is part of God's will, and you're not letting it occur because of you trying to take matters.
Yeah, you think you're putting yourself in God's position. Yeah. In fact, that's why Augustine says like that's so prideful for you to think that like you could rebel against God
because you think you know better.
Because you think you know better. But it is like, I also like for a big part of me thinks like, how selfish is it of me to try to save my own soul, so that I don't sin, but and kill these people. And you're not killing them, but you're letting them die. But I think if we do believe that telling the truth is good and lying is always a sin, and sinning is always worse than not sinning, then maybe your soul is more valuable than someone's life. Like your eternal salvation is more important than the mere physical realm that we inhabit right now. Like one person's soul into heaven is maybe worth more than your life as like here on earth. It just gets it gets a little iffy for people that don't believe in your beliefs and in your like eternal salvation and your damnation of your soul if you lie. You're like, okay, well, your little philosophy experiment just cost this person a very real life that he had, you know. So
maybe all of those people were in a state of grace and were meant to die in that moment, or maybe they were all meant to be martyred, and you just put an end to it because you thought you knew better.
And at the end of the day, we don't need to understand it. We just need to follow. It's also a commandment, you know. Do not lie. Is that not like don't bear false witness? Like we could also do, like that's how you can know also what is good and what is not. But that's always one of those questions that I found really interesting. Along with like, okay, this is something I thought of yesterday. That I've heard someone else post. I stole it. But is being a spy sinful?
That's a good point.
What do you think?
I guess I would have to say yes. Under
what we've been saying,
given what we've been talking about, yeah,
you're kind of forced to take that position.
Yeah.
I don't know that I agree though with my position in this. Like, it seems like.
Did you see what the church says?
No, I didn't see what the church says. I was gonna ask ChatGPT to sit them down at the round table again and ask them.
That's a good question.
But I figured it'd be more fun if we could just try to reason this ourselves. I think we are forced to take the same conclusion that we did with the Nazis. I mean,
that's the only way I can look at it again.
But
we would be just contradicting ourselves from like 2 minutes ago.
We would. But it's still interesting to think about because it's something that I would never have thought as sinful. I mean, you're doing something, but then it gets into utilitarianism. You think you can control, like you think you know what's best, and this is for the greater good of my country for me to lie in this moment, you know, and that's kind of prideful again of yourself to believe that. It's tough. I wouldn't say that like that's inherently like you wouldn't look at someone that's a spy doing something that they believe is good for their country as like someone that's immoral, but clearly.